It's 7 o'clock, and I'd ask for a motion to open the February 4th.
Yes, I make that motion.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
And Susan
LL.
and Charlie Costello
Frank Baccagiani.
are present. Tonight, first up on our agenda is a septic variance request for 77 Railroad Avenue. And I'll read the narrative part of the request. Is this the formal
Yes.
document here, this
Yes.
paragraph? David F. Jackwicke is in the process of obtaining permits to upgrade his septic system at 77 Railroad Avenue. As part of the plan approval process, the Raleigh Board of Health will hold a meeting scheduled for Monday, February 4th, 2019, starting at 7 in the meeting room of the Town Hall Annex at 39 Central Street. You are cordially invited. And there are several requests here. I don't believe I have to read through them all. No, it's part of the record.
Yep.
And so, let's see. Who will be speaking for the project?
Both myself as well as Dave. My name is Chuck Johnson, civil engineer with C.G. Johnson Engineering.
You've got gray hair since the last time you were here.
I was trying to remember the last time I was before you.
Notice that.
We all have.
We all do.
That's right. So Chuck Johnson, and this is Dave Jaquith, owner of the property.
Charlie knows me.
Yep.
Sue,
So you're going to be, you two will answer questions and you'll make the presentation.
That's right.
And are all the butter notification
Yes.
cards been sent and
There were two.
back?
There were two, and we got them both back. Yes.
Okay. So if you would make a motion to open this public
Yes.
hearing.
I move we open the public hearing concerning 77 Railroad Avenue.
I second. All those in favor?
Aye.
So the hearing is open, and Mr. Johnson, you're welcome to tell us what you have in mind.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. This project is the second of 3 town committees that we need approval from. The first is the zoning
We're the
board.
toughest, so you waited for us.
No, we're even waiting longer for conservation,
Oh.
but we have to know what we're doing before we go to
Yeah.
conservation. But we've been to Board of Appeals.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have approval from Board of Appeals. You folks are second, and then we'll be filing for the March 5th meeting for the Conservation Commission in a couple of weeks.
Good.
So this particular plan that you see, I have prepared. It's at a 1:5 foot scale. It's a fairly small piece of property. And normally projects that I work on are 1:10 foot scale, sometimes 20, but this is at a 5 scale. And the property, if you're on Railroad Avenue, and before you cross the tracks, on the left is the railroad station. But then after you've crossed over the tracks, then this home is the first on your right-hand side.
I know where it is.
Yeah,
We know.
Yeah.
okay.
It's air conditioned.
Yeah.
Yes, has natural air conditioning. And so the project, the existing home has a black water, so for the toilet that's here, there's a pipe with a remains of an old cesspool for the black water. And then the gray water for the washing machine is a 4-inch pipe that continues out into the marsh. And as part of our proposal, we're going to pump and fill in that cesspool, remove the remains of whatever clay pipe, as well as remove the this portion of the gray water pipe and just abandon, just leave the rest of that piping in the ground. And we have done our soil testing in the front of the property, between the roadway and the home, and we found fantastic soil. We were very pleased. Now, if you look at the Soil Conservation Service mapping, there's this particular soil is considered an A soil. Soil Conservation Service rates soil A, B, C, or D. A is the best. And this soil is the best. It's also, there's a former gravel pit farther up near the railroad station. So we found fantastic soils, and so therefore the leaching system is going to be the smallest necessary. And so the system, the type that I've chosen for this project is the smallest possible leaching area with what's called a bottomless sand filter. Now this will be the fourth bottomless sand filter that I've been involved with for Rowley. I've done about 45 of them since 2005, and the system consists of a pipe coming to a 2,000-gallon septic tank. Then there'll be a filter vault inside the outlet of the septic tank, and then dose over to what's called the Waterloo biofilter, which is, I didn't bring any samples. There's basically foam cubes. And so what happens is every 12 to 15 minutes, there's about 3 to 4 gallons that are dosed from the septic tank over to this second tank, which acts as a trickling filter. And so by the time the effluent trickles down to the bottom of this structure through 4 feet of foam, it's about 95% cleaner than when we started. And then it will be sent over to this bottomless sand filter, which is essentially a sandbox with sand that it's what I call a special sand from Rhode Island. It's a 2-hour drive down to Rhode Island, 2-hour drive back for the contractor. And what you will see when everything is finished is you'll see an interlocking concrete block wall that's going to be maybe 8 to 12 inches high, and you'll see pea gravel on the surface. And because we do not have groundwater, we did run a percolation test, faster than 2-minute per inch percolation test. And so we will be easily more than 5 feet above the seasonal high water table with the system. And we have several variance and local upgrade approval requests, and I'll just walk you through those. Okay, in terms of the Rowley Board of Health requirements, the first is that you have a regulation where the leaching portion of a system is supposed to be 30 feet away from a property line. And there's no way that we could be 30 feet away.
It's only 40 feet in width of the street. That's why we had to go to Board of Appeals.
Yeah, so that's the first variance from your Board of Health regulations. We're proposing to be 5 feet. And as you can see, basically the whole front yard is going to be some components of the septic system. So the first is your requirement of 30 feet from a property line, and will be 5. The second...
One question.
Yes.
And I don't mean to interrupt you, but automobiles can drive over parts of this system, or how is the access to the house?
Be on the right-hand side.
That's a great question. So both of these structures, the septic tank and the Waterloo biofilter, they're precast concrete structures. They need to be at least 12 inches below the ground surface, and we'll have room to be able to park over this area. We won't be able to park over the bottom of sand filter, but certainly over those 2 structures we'll be able to.
And is there a yearly maintenance requirement
Yes.
with this?
Yeah, to give you a little bit of history, the first one that I designed for the state of Massachusetts in 2005 in Topsfield, the requirement was 4 times a year we needed to have maintenance. That then changed to twice a year. Within the last 3 or 4 years, that changed to once a year. So once a year, there's service and maintenance required. And that service and maintenance would be done by a company in Ipswich called Clearwater Industries. And they are the ones that service the other 3 bottomless sand filters that you have in town. And
And we have no trouble with those.
so that's the first, is in terms of your Board of Health regulations, the distance to property line for the leaching area. The second is the distance from the leaching area to the wetlands. The state's requirement is 50 feet, your requirement is 100 feet, and we're 62 feet away from the wetlands here. Okay? And then we have, so those are the two Raleigh Board of Health variances. Then we have some local upgrade approval requests, which are basically state of Massachusetts Title V requests. And that relates to the distance from the Waterloo biofilter treatment unit, the septic tank, as well as the bottomless sand filter. All are required to be 10 feet from a property line, and we're 5 feet to property line. So those are the first three. And then we are also supposed to be 10 feet from the Waterloo biofilter and the septic tank to the dwelling, and we're 7 feet away for the Waterloo, we're 8 feet away for the septic tank, and the bottomless sand filter will be 10 feet away from the foundation. And then we also have the distance from a water service to both a septic tank and a leaching area. It's supposed to be 10 feet. And so we're a couple feet off of the tank, a couple feet off of the water, off of the bottomless sand filter. But what we will do is we will sleeve that water service within a 4-inch diameter pipe. So we'll have the water service within that pipe. So in terms of concern, the concern and the reason for the distance is that we don't want to have any issues of contamination of the septic with the water service. And because that water service would be sleeved within a 4-inch diameter pipe, that's taken care of. So that is the Reader's Digest version of what we're proposing.
You reference a wetland line.
Yes.
Who was that from?
That was done by Bill Manuel from Wetlands and Land Management, and Brent Bazelak, your Conservation Administrator, has reviewed that and agreed to that line.
My initial thinking was that the septic would have to go on, right in that area, right there. And this is so much better because we're down at the wetlands line.
Yep.
So we were pleasantly pleased when we found the fantastic soil and fantastic depth of the water table, and we have the room. We're meeting your 150 gallon per bedroom requirement, and it really worked out wonderfully.
And there'll
How
be
many
three
bedrooms?
bedrooms
3 bedrooms.
that have been in there historically.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's been approved by your assessor as well.
And the subject lot is that map 27, lot 103? Is
Yes.
that so it juts out to the south and then back?
Yes.
Does it go all the way to the river?
I don't believe
No.
so, but there are 4 acres. Yes, it does, at some point. There's 4 acres, 3 of which go underwater on a good high tide. You know where my house is.
Yep.
I've got 2 acres, and
Your house will be underwater soon.
not in my lifetime.
Maybe some of your neighbors. Maybe some of
Sarah.
the neighbors, yeah.
Yeah.
Any
Here's a
questions?
little bit more of the site here.
Oh, yeah.
It goes here and then it goes out like
Straight
that,
back.
and then Lois's house is, this is gravel road, goes out to Lois's house, but Lois has passed away now. And David Allen is here, and my present house is here. And some of the thinking behind this, how this all started was, I saw some of the people that were going to go to the auction to buy this, and they were not people I really want to live next to, I'm sorry.
Oh,
So I said, in order to make the neighborhood better, I'll buy it. And we're gonna treat it as a rental. Sarah's much younger than I am, and if she doesn't want the big house, she can move to a smaller
Oh.
house, so that's some of the thinking.
Were they Yankee fans that were trying to get that property?
They were like Yankee fans, yes. Los Angeles Rams, man.
Well, do you have any questions?
No, I
And
don't.
that's kind of a schematic of what it's gonna look like?
It's all coming down. As soon as we get through the next board,
Yep.
it's $5,000 to take it down.
It'll look nicer than it looks now.
Of course.
How can,
You know what the toughest job for an architect to design for is his own stuff.
All right.
Like the back side is all glass because the view is great out
Yep.
there. And to the east, was Plum Island, and it's glass facing Plum Island too. Now the railroad track side goes hard with little punches in it. And it's all gonna be cement board product, the clapboards, vertical board, and this will be some
Yeah,
sort of
that hardy board.
hardy board.
Yeah. All right. Well, subject to our approval.
I know, it's all up to us, isn't it?
Now, do you have any questions?
No, I don't. That was a good explanation. I understood everything very nicely.
Very good.
And you seem to feel very confident with these Waterloo systems. You put in a lot. They have no headaches to speak of.
No, Waterloo, so there's two treatment units. The secondary treatment unit is the Waterloo biofilter. That was first approved in Massachusetts in 1996. And I'm not sure how many I've designed. It probably is more than 100, might be 150 of them, something like that. And the bottomless sand filter component with the Waterloo biofilter, I've done, again, about 45 of these.
Mhm.
So it is, to give you an idea, the first bottomless sand filter that I designed and got approval for in Topsfield, piloted the first one for Massachusetts in 2005. The size, the footprint size of the bottomless sand filter is about 1/10 of the size of what normally you would have. So I didn't take the Title V regulations and showed you folks what size the leaching area would have been, but it would have been huge. So,
And it couldn't fit on the property.
oh,
Well,
Well, we knew we had to do something a little different to accommodate what we needed to do there.
yeah. Well, I have no further questions.
No,
Would you
everything's answered.
would
so
you make
can
make a motion?
I'll move to grant the variance requested on the proposed septic system upgrade for 77 Railroad Avenue, including, let me see, reducing the offset for the septic system from the wetlands to 62 feet and reducing the property line to 5 feet.
And,
Do we do two motions or
We'll do it
one?
Separately.
Yeah, we'll do it
Yeah.
separately. So I will second that motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
Okay. You're unanimous in this.
And then if you,
And then I'll do the next one too, okay. I'll move to grant the local upgrade approval variances for reducing the distance from the foundation to the septic tank to 8 feet, reducing the distance from the foundation to the Waterloo biofilter tank to 7 feet, reducing the distance from the foundation to the septic field to 10 feet, reducing the distance from the septic tank, Waterloo biofilter tank, and leach field to 5 feet, and reducing the distance from the water line to the septic tank and leach field to 2 feet with a sleeve on the water line.
I second that motion.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
terrific.
and
Thank you very much.
It's nice to have improvements.
Yes. When's the party?
let's get through.
Fall?
It may be. It's gonna be something because when you come into that house, you don't have any clue until you get well into the house of what happens at the back of the house.
Oh.
The view. I mean, that's also south too, so you're getting the
Nice
sunshine.
yeah.
sunshine.
Have you been in my house,
No.
Well, that's, you should knock on the door sometime, then. Because there was a neighbor, when it was under construction, a neighbor who doesn't live in Raleigh anymore came up to me and said, you have 72 windows. I said, what did you do, count them? She says, yeah. And I said, well, you missed 4, they're inside, you can't see them. But, you know, I believe in trying to get solar gain. Right now, when the sun comes up over by the turbines, it goes 30 feet inside the house for a few minutes. And that makes your day a little bit better when you get up.
Sure.
It's not very bright, it's 6 something, but by the time you get the first sip of coffee, the sun's coming in. So today was a beautiful day.
Well,
It was.
And
My
tomorrow-
house gets the morning sun too.
Well,
It's wonderful.
when people ask me about house sites, I said, you should be looking for a house that had a site where the backyard basically faces south, southeast, southwest. And they say, why? Because I can do anything, and you can do anything you want on the backside of the house. You might have to be in a neighborhood where you have to be somewhat concerned on the front side. And that's what we've done with this plan. It looks like one of the railroad houses down there.
Mm-hmm.
The house that's there now was built 1840s. Trees knocked the shingles off, and then it started wearing inside. And
When was it last lived in?
in the 90s, Witt, he had an he had a Toyota repair shop down where
Pearlies.
Pearlie's is.
Oh.
Strange guy, I've come to know him. I talked to him once, he's passed away now, but he wanted to sell it to me before it was taken by the town for $300,000. And I said, that's a bit high. So,
Well,
I
good
just-
luck.
his daughter has called me, and she's looking forward to seeing it down there.
Oh,
It'll
good.
be wonderful, I'm sure.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Don't be a stranger, Chuck. It's not up to you.
I know. But I used dowsing rods to find what I thought was the septic line going out to the marsh. It really was gray water line.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I bent a couple coherenters and kept going across the line and marking it, and then dig a little hole, and there's white plastic pipe down there.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
All right, well, let's see. Next is a variance request for a well at 710 at 231 Haverhill Street.
Yes. Mr. Shaw is here also.
Oh,
In
okay.
case there's any questions.
And you're the applicant?
Yes, I'm the homeowner, yes.
Want to come up and sit in the front?
Sure.
Andrew Shaw.
Yes, sir.
I'll just read this letter.
Sure, yeah.
Requesting a variance for the installation of a well to be located at 231 Haverhill Street in the approximate location on the attached sketch. The reason we're installing a well is for irrigation use. The reason we're installing a well and a pump is so we are not using town water for our plantings and lawn maintenance. The location constraints do not allow us to meet the 100-foot offset requirements. Okay.
So, yeah, this would be, feel free to jump in, but this would be an irrigation only well.
Correct.
And our current local regulations don't differentiate between drinking water and an irrigation well, so we do have that 100-foot offset. The state setback is 25 feet for an irrigation well. This is estimated, I believe, 80 feet around?
86 feet.
86 feet.
Yes.
So why don't Mr. Shea, why don't you, Shaw, excuse me,
Yep.
why don't you point out to us here, Susan and I, on this plan, This is where you want to put the well.
This is the location
Up
where
near
we're
the
going to put
street,
the well.
is it? Is this the street going by
This
here?
is, yep, this is Haverhill Street.
Oh, Haverhill Street, okay.
Yep. This is the location we'd like to put the well.
Yeah,
The septic obviously comes back off the house. I'm not an expert, but you can see the septic tank back here. From that corner to that location is 86 feet.
okay. And what type of a system do you have here? Is this just a septic tank, a traditional
Traditional septic.
septic
yes.
tank?
Yep.
Okay. And when was that installed? Recently, or? No, you don't know.
I can
That's all right.
dig it out. if
It's not recent.
you want. No.
No.
Well, and you're going to use it for your horticulture. And
Strictly, yes, strictly outdoor use. Lawn, garden, that sort of thing.
so the water system won't be going into the house?
I don't believe so.
Because I think there are regulations about that with the water department.
Yeah.
So you
Can't
better-
be- Can't be a cross
You
connection.
better,
Okay.
it could be a cross connect, so you need very effective plumbing to
Okay.
ensure separation, if that's allowable. So after tonight, you should check in with the people in the water department.
Okay.
You're not planning on bringing it into the house, I think is the question.
No.
Yeah.
You're not?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought he answered yes, so maybe I'm wrong.
No,
Okay,
it will not be brought into
so
the
it'll
house.
just be the pump and the
in the well.
in the well, and it's going to be hooked up to your
Irrigation.
irrigation system.
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you have any questions, Susan?
No, I don't. Everything with the septic complies with Title V, so I'm not looking at a new system going in the future, the near future.
Hopefully not.
Okay,
But if it were, it would most likely be in the same area it is now.
okay,
'Cause as you can see, the way the house is situated on the lot.
okay.
Well, I have no more questions.
No, good idea.
Should you make a motion, Susan?
Yeah. I will move, let's see, how can I say this? Yes, I guess Frank knows anyway.
Oh,
I'll just, I will move that we grant the variance request for a well at 231 Haverhill Street, Andrew and Sarah Shaw.
Yeah, a variance to
Yeah,
our 100-foot
foot.
separation between a
Right.
well and the septic system.
Yeah.
For an irrigation.
It's
For an
for
irrigation.
irrigation, yeah,
I second.
okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
It'll be spring soon. You'll be
Yes.
growing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
See ya.
Nice to meet you.
And check, yeah, and I guess you don't have to check with the water, but
No.
if,
Yeah, it's just a concern of cross connections.
it's
that's
a,
all.
it's a
But,
sensitive
you
issue.
know,
Right. No, I
With
understand
that.
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck.
If you want general knowledge, go and see them now.
Okay.
They'll make you an expert.
All right. Thank you very much.
Good, thank
Yep.
you.
Okay. Let's see here. Well, we don't have much lined up. I guess next up, has there been any changes to our submitted?
Not really. We just made some updates and changed a few things, but it's basically the same as previous years. I think everyone had a chance to.
Yep.
look
I
it
sent
over.
my comments, and,
Yep.
and I thought you and Wendy, if it was a team effort, did a great job.
Thank you.
That's a big report. There's a lot of work that gets done
It
down
is.
here. My
Yeah.
goodness.
I think you should really use a smaller font so it doesn't look so busy.
Nobody
like I-
would read it.
It's
They
like I
wouldn't
used to
even
do
see
in
it.
college. I'd have the big font.
Well, this is good for people my age and your age.
Yeah, our age. All right, if we're in favor and support the final review of our report.
Yep.
And next, we're going to get a quick
Yeah, very quick quarterly report.
review of our septic loan program.
Yeah. Our since last report was done the end of September 2018. At that point, the end of that report, our balance was $345,821.03. We did not get any additional money from the state. During that time, we processed one loan. You can see on page 2, there was actually only one payment made out. Subtracting that leaves us with a ending balance of $341,571.03. And we actually have 2 new loans that are in the works right now.
2 new ones?
2 new ones that will be coming in the next week or 2. Probably totaling between 50 and 60,000. So.
They keep
But
coming.
it was a slow quarter for the loans last year. Not too much happened last quarter.
All right.
Questions on that, or?
Nope. We'll start continuing.
And as you know, I mentioned, I think the last time, we're trying to make these numbers a little more real with accounting and the treasurer's office, where the money in and money out before was just more deducting as we're giving out the loans, but now we're trying to include the money that's coming in, so it's a more real number. So it's been working out well for the last couple reports, so we're just going to keep going with that if that works for everybody.
And we are making money.
Yeah, the 2%.
The 2%,
2%,
yeah.
And that gets put back into the to the pot.
total.
Yeah, exactly, to lend out again, so.
All
Yeah,
right.
really, there's no, the only thing that, occasionally there may be some administrative costs for lawyer fees, but other than that, we're not paying, we run the program internally, we're not paying anybody, we're not drawing down any more money from the state, so we're just managing what we have. And,
So it's really a Raleigh septic bank.
basically, yeah,
Yeah.
it's money in, money out, so, yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Let's see. Off to office administration. Do we have bills to pay?
No, not this time.
Nothing?
No, nothing new came from last week.
This is good. I'm working all week, so I
Oh,
wouldn't be
perfect.
able to come in on Wednesday. I would come tomorrow.
And let's see, we have some minutes from December 10th. Let's see. We were all here that night.
Yeah. How's everything going with the new tobacco rules?
So far, so good.
Good.
Haven't heard of any problems yet, but we'll be doing compliance checks again. We'll keep you posted, but so far, so good. We, as I mentioned last time, I hand-delivered all the new regulations to all establishments and talked to them just to
Yeah.
make sure they understood. And they got our mailing as well, so that they already knew,
They
why
read
I
it.
was
That
there.
was
Yeah, they
good.
actually read it, so I was pleasantly surprised. So,
Good.
no, they didn't. No one really had any issues with it. They weren't concerned about sales or anything. Most of them were in support of it. So,
Sure.
I think it's a lot easier than staggering. The staggering's going to be too confusing for the retail.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
So, everyone seemed happy with them.
Good.
Has there been any effort with Mr. Beauregard to check and see how enforcement is going with the youthful possible users of tobacco products?
Yeah, we'll be doing compliance checks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be doing them again. I'm not sure exactly when, but
So he hasn't been,
not since
the
we
last
changed.
couple of months,
Yeah, the
not
last
since
time
we
we did
changed the rules.
it was still 18, but no, not since we changed the rules. No, but we will, and we'll let you know how they turn out. And also the tobacco shack, where it's, you know, we talked to them as well, and it's
Right.
understood that you have to be 21 to even go inside.
Right.
There was a little question, that's why we made that definition.
Yeah.
in order
Yeah.
To kind of avoid any, you know, vagueness there. So, and they were fine, but their clientele is not that young, so they weren't too concerned about it.
Good.
Okay, have you reviewed the minutes?
Yep.
Would you like to make a motion to accept
I
them?
would move that we accept the minutes for our Board of Health meeting from December 10th, 2018.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
If you'd sign yours.
Okay.
And, moving along here, I guess the next thing would be to set when we meet again. When, what do things look like? What are things looking like?
Well, you will have, if you remember our last hearing, meeting, 51 Oyster Point Road, Dan Johnson, he'll be coming back.
Yeah.
He wasn't ready for this meeting, so
Yeah, I thought
he was fine with the next one. There's not a huge rush there, so that'll be, we told him it'll probably be in March, most likely. So he was
I'm
fine
home.
with
any
Yeah.
Monday's fine.
that. Okay.
You pick one and I'll be there.
So I think we'll see when that comes in and try to work the date on that. That's all right. Or
Sure.
we can,
I'm here after March 10th
okay.
until about April 5th.
Yeah. Unless something, you know, urgent comes up, but it's the only thing that we know of that's coming along
Sure.
that we need the board to meet on. Other than minor things, but as far as
What about
variances.
the subdivision issue on Weathersfield Street near the Girl Scout
Yeah.
camp? Is that,
Actually, the developer was going to come in and ask for some waivers, but he decided not to. So one of them, I believe, was perk testing out of season, but he changed his mind. And also a question about our local 30-foot offset, but again, he changed his mind. So that's still going through the planning board.
so that maybe they're not ready to?
Yeah, they may come in, but actually was planning to be here tonight, but decided not to. So,
Okay.
so that's going through the planning board still, and see how that progresses.
Then, okay, so you can't see any other big projects coming?
No, the hotel's come along. The hotel portion has an occupancy permit that's open. The restaurant is being completed. The spa is being completed. So that's probably in the next couple of months they'll be opening that up completely. Fire station, police station are getting close. moving
Everything
along.
on our street going okay?
Yeah, we're down to one last one that, the furthest one on the end of Bennett Hill is, that's the last one that we're working on. There's that big project you just mentioned, on Weathersfield Street, but,
Yep.
we probably will at some point have them come in and talk about the project in general, if you'd like.
Sure.
All right, well, do you have any concerns?
No, I don't.
Well, I think at 7:42,
Yeah.
we could have a motion to,
To adjourn.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.